Hi guys, I hope everyone's doing fantastic. So thank you very much to the guys who've watched my first video on my journey to inspire as many people as I possibly can. Today I wanted to talk about a day that's particularly um, defining in the lives of my triplets, but as well as my wife, myself, and the rest of our family. Um, it was the 30th of January 2018 when we found out some major news about what it was that was affecting our boys and why they were developing so slow and all of that. But I wanted to reflect on that entire month because that entire month in 2018 was, to be quite frank, a very harsh month. So the first 2 weeks went by and everything was okay, and then Thursday night off, I went to play some touch rugby at the club. Played some touch rugby. Was getting ready to play a game on Saturday morning, and Friday afternoon I went to fetch my daughter from school, and I felt a tweak. Um, and the pain just got worse and worse as the day got on. And eventually, I was admitted to hospital that night, and I spent 2 weeks in hospital. Um, well, fighting for my life, for lack of a better explanation. I pretty much was on the edge. Fortunately enough, I was stubborn enough not to give up and carry on. But I'd come out on the 29th of January in 2018, and I was really sore and really pain. On the 30th, we had our evaluation chat with the pediatrician after 20 weeks of a battery of tests for the boys to find out, what's wrong. We had physios and OTs and all sorts of doctors having a look at our kids, audiology, ophthalmology, the whole kit. We even had some psychologists and clinical kids play therapists and all sorts helping us out with this. So we went through 20 weeks of this intense sessions where most of it I was carrying the three boys around on my own, making sure they were getting to appointments and whatnot. And then I felt close to death ill for the last 2 weeks of January. But fortunately enough, I pulled out. It was all good. I'm here clearly, so I'm telling the story, which is a great thing. And then on the 30th, we had this appointment. So already there, I was already in probably a weakened state on my crutches. I couldn't walk. Thank goodness my wife's dad had come across a little bit earlier than they'd planned to, and he was helping us out, or helping me and the boys get by while I wasn't feeling well. We arrived at the doctors, and myself, my wife, and my father-in-law were there. And obviously, it was a bit somber. We had all the specialists there, and obviously, the pediatrician wanted to chat with us. Um, it had been 2.5 odd years where we didn't really know what was going on. We couldn't understand why the kids were missing the milestones, why they just weren't developing, and all these kinds of things. And they were just going, and it just didn't seem to be getting better. And they just seemed to be getting. We couldn't understand. Anyway, so the long and the short of it is, the 30th of January 2018 was the day we found out our triplets, all three of them, had severe cerebral palsy. So it'd been quite an intense ride. We'd recently moved countries, so it'd only been about 3 or 4 months since we'd been in, about 3 months since we'd been in the UK. So we'd had 20 weeks of intense testing. I'd spent 2 weeks in hospital, terribly ill, 2.5 years of not knowing what was actually going on, and to finally get to this day where we had an answer. I remember clearly standing there as the doctor was telling me this news, and I felt this incredible sadness go over my body. But as I felt this feeling almost wanting to take over my body, and it is, you sad, because now this is, no one wants this kind of thing for their children. But as I looked around, I looked at my wife and I looked at her dad and I looked at the doctor, and I realized I had to make a decision in that space right then and there, very similar to the day that the boys were born. How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to react to this? I can break down completely now and be of no good to anyone, or I can, take it on the chin and carry on. So this is clearly quite an emotional thing for me, and I don't think I've really ever spoken to anyone about how I felt that day. I just remember looking around and going, if I'm not the strong one here, what is going to happen? How's my wife going to deal with it? How's my father-in-law going to deal with it? And how are my kids going to deal with it? They're all going to look to someone that needs to take this stance and be strong. So in that specific moment, and in January that month, I had two very defining moments. It was early on when I got into hospital. Am I going to survive this? What am I going to do to survive this? And the day that I found out my kids had cerebral palsy, where I had to basically make the decision that I needed to be strong for my family. So I took about 2 or 3 seconds just to adjust myself, took a deep breath, swallowed hard, sunk it all down, and I made the decision right then and there that I'm not going to take this the wrong way. I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to let it get me down. I have to be strong because my kids need me to be strong and my wife needs me to be strong. And I probably need to be strong for myself at the same time. So what I guess my lesson out of that month alone was, lying in hospital there, and I was lying in this bed and I was in so much pain and I had no idea where I was. And I really felt like this was it. I'm out of here. And I thought to myself, I just have to get through this. I can beat this. I've been through, probably haven't been through worse than dying. But, I need to beat this for my wife and I need to beat this for my kids. There's so much more that I need to do. So in that bed, on that day, I made the decision. 2 weeks later, I was out of hospital, although I was in pain. Went through another 6 to 8 weeks of therapy, and 6 months before I could actually turn from my back onto my side without being in any form of pain. Come back to the 30th. It's now been 3 years to the day where we've had that conversation. The emotions are still there. I still feel sad. Like when I talk about it and I think back, those kind of emotions that I felt immediately, so they do come back and they're well there. But if I think about the progress my boys have made since then, able to use scoots and wheelchairs and crawl around the floor, although be it not as anyone else would crawl around the floor, 1 or 2 little words here, pointing and communicating, defying odds. Like, how can we not find a way to be strong for kids that show this much courage and this much determination in their lives? It was it was like the world was taken off my shoulders when I went, okay, I can be strong without being blind to what's going on, or I can be weak, or not weak. I can crumble and let it just take it all in the wrong way. So on that day, I decided I would be strong, take it on the chin, take each day again as it came, and we would push our kids and help them try and achieve the best that they could achieve as humanly possible. And they have definitely shot past everything that anyone thought they would do. Like I said, Harvey's got a wheelchair. We're waiting for Daniel and Gabriel to get their wheelchairs. They've got a scoot that they go around in at school and at home, like little whizzy bugs in walking frames. The communication skills are getting there. And now with the help of the NG tubes, our boys are starting to fill out and starting to grow and put on a lot of weight, which is fantastic. So I guess the moral of the story is it's all about how you react to a situation. So you can react negatively and you can drop down and you can say, oh, well, why was me? Life is terrible. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Or you can go, okay, cool. I just need to put on my brave face. I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. It's okay to feel sad because it's a natural reaction. But how are you going to react? What are you going to do from minute to minute, from day to day, from week to week? And every day since then, I've just pushed harder and harder and harder to put myself and my kids and my wife and everyone in my family into a better, stronger space, and just try and be that pillar of strength without being ignorant to what's going on. Anyway, I hope this makes sense to you. It's very raw. It's very uncut. It was just something from the heart that I felt that I needed to share. And once again, everything's about how you react in a certain situation. You can either react negatively and let it define you, or you can react positively and let it define you. How I react positively has defined how I've led my life day to day, which is then led on to how my triplets have led their lives, and how my son and my daughter and my wife have led their lives since that day. So massive pressure on us to look after the triplets, but all good. Like, genuinely, I don't think there are any happier children in the world than these 3 little boys. More determined kids is very few and far between. Courage like you've never seen, and absolute love from the heart. It's amazing. So I'm glad that I took that decision. I reacted positively. It could have gone very horribly wrong, and it could have gone the other way. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. Have a think about it. If you've got any questions, give me a shout. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye.